Good day. My name is Shantae Favors. I am a proud disability advocate from Taylor, Michigan. I am also your immediate past Miss Wheelchair Michigan 2024, as well as first runner-up for Miss Wheelchair America 2025. Today, I want to talk to you about an issue that is very critical and near and dear to my heart, as it is an issue that almost cost me my life. I want to talk about the critical need for accessible air travel and every facet of air travel. September 8, 2024, I was returning home from an enjoyable weekend in Memphis, Tennessee. After completing what I felt was an enjoyable flight, it turned into the very fight of my life. So when it was time to board this particular aircraft, I was afraid. It was extremely narrow. It did not fit me and it posed a significant challenge. So, my husband, he decided to carry me to my chair, which was the fifth seat. Getting off the plane, because I am a disability advocate, and at the time, the reigning Miss Wheelchair Michigan 2024, I made a decision to have a teachable moment. I wanted to show them how this plane was not designed with us in mind, and how it was extremely dangerous to have individuals with these issues on these type of aircrafts. So, my husband, while recording, we informed the individuals transporting me from my seat to the aisle chair so that I could be deplaned off the aircraft they were recording. I informed them that I am Miss Wheelchair Michigan 2024. I cannot assist my own transfer, and I do have spasms. Two individuals lifted me out of my seat into the aisle chair. This particular aircraft, the armrests to the chairs did not lift up. They lifted me up and they put me into the aisle chair. They then proceeded to strap a seatbelt on me. From my opinion, I believe there was one seatbelt that they considered two, but there was a seatbelt going across my chest that they strapped me in. It was not until after going back to review the recording that I learned that one of the seatbelts was in fact broken. And the individual said, and I quote, "This seatbelt is broken, but we should be okay." We were not okay. When we get to the fourth or the third seat, which is just 2 or 1 seats away from where I started, I ended up on the floor. They dropped me out of the aisle chair. The seatbelt was now lodged around my neck. The one that they had was lodged around my neck, and I'm on the floor. I recall my back hitting the back of this aisle chair really hard. And so at the time, I am really feeling ashamed and embarrassed. And I just really want the seatbelt from around my neck, and I want off this floor. My husband, who was recording at the front of the plane, he immediately came to my aid. He removed the seatbelt off my neck. Him and one of the individuals that was originally transporting me off the plane carried me to my chair. Thankfully, when I got back to my mobility device, my chair was in working order, which was a huge relief for me because, for me, that was the fear. The fear was my chair being damaged doing these traveling, air travel. That was my fear. However, turned into something much, much more serious. I immediately asked for a red coat to lodge a complaint. I took down the information and I showed them the video so they can see exactly what happened. I thought it was fine. I went home. When I woke up the next day, I was not fine. I was in a lot of pain. So I went to the emergency room. My concern became the hardware in my neck as I have a cervical spinal cord injury, and I do have hardware. I am fused from my C2 to my C7, and I have a plate at C5-6. So my concern became the hardware in my neck. My baffling pump wasn't alarming, so I wasn't too concerned. The hardware was fine. So they sent me home. Sent me home with pain medicine because my back and my neck, I'm in pain. Well, I wasn't fine. I had to make a decision to call 911. And this time, I was admitted back into the hospital. And they ran tests, and they diagnosed me with some things. And I was admitted. The concern, now my body is starting to get really tight, so I'm getting concerned because My Baflecan pump is due to be refilled on September the 18th, with the alarm date for September the 22nd or 23rd, if I can recall right. This hospital is not equipped to handle individuals of my situation, or my treating physicians were not at this particular hospital. So they, before September 18th, before September 18th or right after, they were able to get me transferred where my treating physicians were. But I was still sick. So they began to run tests and to begin to increase my antispasticity medication because I was having spasm at an alarming rate. My body was literally just shutting down. They had made the decision to see if the pump was damaged. And so, although this pump wasn't alarming, I hit my back extremely hard. And the catheter to my Baflecan pump sits in my back into my spine. Well, they had to do a test. And when it went in, it showed that something in fact was wrong with the pump. They boarded me for surgery the following day. However, when they went in and opened me up, the pump itself was fine. But because you have to have this surgery every 7 years for this Baflecan pump, and I had my pump almost 6 years, they made the decision, since I'm open, to change the pump. When they opened me up, it irrigated, so they didn't mess with the catheter. However, I was still sick. I was extremely sick. So I'm telling the surgeon, please just look again, there's something wrong. Well, I caught COVID. And because I had COVID and I was really sick, I wasn't medically cleared for surgery. After COVID went away, they then got Medtronic's back out again to see if there's something wrong with this pump or catheter. Again, it revealed, in fact, there's something wrong with this pump or catheter. So they made the decision to change the catheter. And when they opened it, they saw the catheter itself was in fact bent. It had kinked. It had in fact kinked and had a hole in my spine. When they moved that catheter up, now this cerebral spinal fluid is just pouring out. They thought that it can literally heal itself. Well, it began to pour out of my back. I had a decision in my back. So I was now admitted into the ICU. And then they had to make a decision because the cerebral spinal fluid began to pour through my body. My stomach was about this big. It looked like I was about 9 months pregnant with twins. So awesome, they had to remove the pump. I ended up in the ICU 4 times, on life support 1 time. All because a flight that was supposed to be enjoyable turned into a nightmare. I think it is extremely imperative that the aircrafts be made more inclusive and that training is necessary. I think training could have prevented an individual from saying, this seatbelt is broken, but we should be okay. I spent 66 days in the hospital from what was supposed to be an enjoyable flight. It cost me to be in the hospital for 66 days. I was unsure if I'll ever make it out, to the point my loved ones was planning my funeral. My kids, they grieved me. I didn't look like myself. I didn't feel like myself. 66 days. Challenged the medical professions caring for me for 66 days. And even now, I'm someone that don't like pain medicine. But in order to have a balance in some life, I have to take pain medicine. I have to take a number of spasticity medications until I can, in fact, get my pump back. Because I had 3 surgeries. 3 surgeries. As a result of being dropped out of an aisle chair. So, this happened in September. And I'm talking about this in the end of February. But I think it's imperative that this message be heard so that we can really change the conversations and make real change, right? We need to make real change. I'm pretty sure it's not an isolated incident. And what hurts me a lot is during this process in the hospital, I learned that there was an individual in November who was traveling back home, or traveling home, or traveling home from school for Thanksgiving. And she too was dropped on the airline. Now, I'm not saying that if I had said something for her, my story would have made a difference, or maybe they had I did something different. But what if it would have? There don't need to be any more Shantae stories or any more stories like that. And what's sad is there's countless individuals being hurt every day, because we're not included. We're an afterthought. We're excluded from so many things. And so I hope another disabled individual don't have to board flight 5501. It was extremely challenging. I hope another individual or their family don't have to endure what I've been through and what I'm going through. It needs to be really, real change. So many disabled people are literally not able to experience life or experience the world. They're not able to travel. Not because they don't have the financial means to, but because we're afraid. We're afraid of our wheelchairs being damaged. We are afraid of our bodies being damaged. For me, it almost cost me my life. So I was always afraid to fly, afraid of heights. Then, when I decided to take to the sky, which was in 2023, it was the first time I flew, I feared my chair being damaged. Never once thinking it could be me. Even the day I made the decision to record on September the 8th, I didn't think it would be an issue where my life would lie in the balance. I just thought this is a moment that can really show how much these aircrafts lack accessibility. How much these aircrafts are not designed for people like myself. It was extremely narrow. The seat didn't recline back. The armrest didn't lift up. And for me, those are barriers that really challenge, my body, and it challenged my comfortability. So, if you are an individual right now with a disability and you have a story like this, share your story, share your message. Let's change the conversations. Let's be included. Let's no longer be silent. I don't want another individual to go through what I went through and what I'm going through. I don't want another spouse to wonder if their husband or wife is going to make it out of the hospital. I don't want a friend to feel bad because you are visiting them. I don't want that. September 8th wasn't my fault. The only thing I did wrong, I guess, was choosing to fly. I could have did nothing else to prevent that. But you individuals that are in charge, you can really change the conversation and change someone's life. You really have the authority to prevent things like this from happening. It starts with education. And so I'm using my voice to share this message, to show you this is not just about fitting on the airplane. It's about life, safety. It's about inclusion. Don't see us through the narrow lens of disability, but see us through the vast potentials of our capability. Don't limit us. And my friend, don't be silent. Don't be silent. I will no longer be silent. I am thankful and grateful that I am still here and I'm here to share this message. And no one else is having to tell my story because I was expired, because I chose to fly. And they chose to just ignore the signs. Just ignore. Well, thank you all for listening. You have an amazing day on purpose. Continue to lift me up in prayer, as every day is a struggle and a battle. It's a struggle and a battle just to get through. So thank you.